And so today on First Responder Fitness, for the first time ever, we are going to talk about this topic that is so important, that is so critical, that if you overlook it or if you delay planning or thinking about it, your future is in jeopardy. Welcome to First Responder Fitness with Carl Wimmer, where armor is forged through mental, spiritual, and physical preparation. Welcome to First Responder Fitness with Carl Wimmer. I am your host, Carl Wimmer, joining you every single week, bringing you some of the best information and cutting edge information on physical, mental, spiritual fitness. And I thank you for joining me again for another podcast. I want to quickly apologize for last week's podcast. We had everything all set up. We had the editing all complete. We had worked with the editors. We had worked to get it set up. And unfortunately, I went out of town. Well, it wasn't unfortunate. It was fantastic. I went to Jamaica and the Cayman Islands with my two boys, one who is getting married this year and one who is graduating high school this year. And so we took a guy's vacation and spent some time in the Caribbean, and it was absolutely amazing. But as a consequence of that, last week's episode was a repeat episode with a different thumbnail placed over the top of it. And it was a great episode that we had planned for you, an episode on the best exercises for building your biceps and your shoulders. And it contrasts the truth of how to build your biceps and shoulders against a popular magazine's idea of how to build your biceps and your shoulders. And we are going to bring you that episode very, very soon. But today, I want to talk to you about something that is really, really important. We at First Responder Fitness, we are not only about physical fitness, but of course, we're about spiritual fitness and mental fitness, because all three of those go together to create this strong person called the first responder. And we want you to be strong in your life. We want you to be strong in your employment. We want you to be strong at home. We want you to be strong in the future. One of the things that is so overlooked by first responders, and one of the things that is not discussed or thought about enough, is your financial fitness. And so today, on First Responder Fitness, for the first time ever, we are going to talk about this topic that is so important, that is so critical, that if you overlook it, or if you delay planning or thinking about it, your future is in jeopardy. And that topic is your financial fitness. Because it doesn't matter how fit you are. If you're stressed out about money, when you hang up the badge and you're looking to retire, you're in trouble. If you're a police officer, a firefighter, even a paramedic, any one of those types, any type of first responder, you are in a very unique situation. Early retirement, high stress, a physically demanding job. You don't get the luxury of working into your late 60s or 70s like most people. You are going to retire, and you're going to retire earlier than most of your neighbors and your colleagues, your friends outside of first response employment, outside of law enforcement, outside of the firefighting community. And I want to give you real talk. I want to give you real actionable steps and tips on how to retire strong and smart. Now, what qualifies me to do that? Am I a financial expert? Am I a financial advisor? I'll state up front, no, I am not. I encourage you to reach out to a financial advisor. I really, really support Dave Ramsey and his philosophy on getting out of debt and saving and investing. And so I would encourage you to reach out to a certified Dave Ramsey personal investor and talk to them. But here's what I am. I am a former law enforcement officer. I'm a retired SWAT cop, retired detective, worked an entire career. I'm now retired and I'm not even 50 years old yet. I just returned from the Caribbean with my boys. How in the heck was I able to do that? I was able to do that because I planned ahead, because I looked and took my financial fitness very, very seriously, as serious as I took my physical fitness. Additionally, I will say this. Had I not been a police officer, had I not entered into law enforcement, being a stockbroker or a financial investor or somebody on Wall Street always appealed to me tremendously. And so I have always, from a very young age, been very interested and intrigued and fascinated by investments, by learning about financial vehicles and tools to strengthen your future. In fact, it was a high school teacher. I was a terrible student in high school, absolutely bottom of the barrel. I highly doubt there's anyone watching this that got worse grades than I did in high school. I had to go to both day school and night school to graduate high school. Of course, that changed when I got to college in many, many years later, where I graduated summa cum laude with my bachelor's degree and went on to get a master's degree. But in high school, I struggled. But there was one teacher who impacted my life forever. And Mr. James was a personal financial teacher. He taught free enterprise, personal financing, those types of classes. I took every single one of the classes I could take from him. And he got me investing in mutual funds as a junior in high school. He got me investing in the stock market as a junior in high school and got me intrigued and fascinated by the numbers, the Dow Jones, the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, the volatility index. And I was so fascinated by all these things that it carried on into my career in law enforcement, and it allowed me to make some wise decisions. And I want to talk about some of those with you today. I'm going to actually give you 5 very important tools, 5 very actionable steps that you can take. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit, just real talk about what it looks like in America right now. Some startling statistics that should hit you really hard. The fact is, nearly 60% of Americans say they are behind on retirement savings. 60%. So almost 2/3 of you, if you're watching this, you would say you're behind in retirement savings. And right now, the stock market and everything is kind of volatile right now. There's the situation as I record this is that there are a lot of tariff wars going on. There's trade wars going on, and that's affecting the stock market. It's affecting your retirement accounts. And there's a lot of unnecessary panic going on. We'll talk about that here in just a bit. But ultimately, at the end of the day, notwithstanding things outside of your control, 60% of Americans say they're not ready or that they are behind on retirement savings. In fact, the average American nearing retirement, so the average American that is nearing retirement has just over $130,000 saved for retirement. $130,000 saved for retirement. No shame, and I don't want to panic you, but that is not anywhere near enough to retire. Ultimately, that's about $500 a month. If you start pulling that out, $130,000, when you retire, and you start pulling a pension or you start pulling money from that, basically, you're going to be getting $500 a month from that, from the time you retire to the time you die, depending on when you retire. I mean, I could never, with only $130,000, I retired at age 46. And if all I had was $130,000 saved, and that's what I was depending on after retirement to pay the bills, I would have been in serious, serious trouble. Many first responders, as you know, retire earlier than expected. They retire due to burnout. This job burns you out. You get sick of dealing with people. Last couple of days, I've been talking to my brother, who is a county sheriff. He is the elected county sheriff. And we talk a lot about the tough things that go along with this job and how some people are just very difficult to deal with. And so burnout gets you, injury can get you. Who hasn't known an officer that had to retire because of physical injury? I've known lots. PTSD gets you, and far too many retire early, but they're not financially prepared for it. The truth is, no one's coming to save your retirement. No one is coming to help you, okay? Just like you have to suit up and put on your body armor and put on your gun belt, make sure you're ready to go before a shift every night. And just as a fireman, you have to make sure that everything is set and ready to spring into action when that 3 or 4 alarm fire goes off and you need to act and act quickly. You need to suit up financially the same way. The same way that you would respond to a burning building or a dangerous call, you need to be prepared. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, I have the pension. Law enforcement, firefighting, state employees, we have a pension. So I'm not too worried about it because it depends on where you work and depends on the state that you work. But just about universally across the United States, most law enforcement officers and firefighters have a pension of some sort that thankfully will pay you a monthly stipend, a monthly amount every single month for the rest of your life, from the time you retire to the time you die. And that's wonderful. State pensions are a huge blessing, and they provide a solid foundation for your retirement. And depending on your years of service, I mean, depending on where you work and what your salary is, for my particular state, and because I am kind of an old school police officer, they would take our highest 3 years of pay that usually does not include overtime, okay? And it does not adjust well for inflation, but they take your highest 3 years of your years in law enforcement, and you get 50% of that per month if you retired at 20 years. Now, that particular pension plan in my state is gone. It's changed, and many of you have multiple tiered systems where you work. I know I was talking to somebody who works in a different state, works along the northern coast, the northern border boundary next to Canada, but they're in the United States. One of the states up there, and they said they have 5 different pension plans depending on when you came into law enforcement. So really remarkable. Either way, pension is wonderful, but it's not enough. It's not enough to get you by because they don't adjust well for inflation. And if you retire early, say you retire in your 50s, or like I did, I was 46 when I retired, you could be looking at 30 or 40 plus years of living expenses. Your pension is only a starting point. Think about it in these terms. It's like your base strength plan. When you're entering into, we're talking about fitness, we're first responder fitness. Your pension is like your starting point. It's like your base strength. It's not the whole plan. You need to add in some cardio. You need to add in proper nutrition. You have to add in recovery. And in this case, that would be you're investing. You're investing into your own retirement, your IRAs, or your individual retirement accounts. And thankfully, for most law enforcement officers in this country, there are many, many options for you. So now, let's talk about 5 power moves that you can take to build a financially fit future, starting with the most important one right at number 1. Number 1, take advantage of your employer's match money. If your employer offers a match, and most do, where they say, If you contribute 5% into an IRA, usually it's a 401k, and not to get too technical, but the term IRA is a big umbrella term, individual retirement account. And it covers, underneath of it are multiple different types of IRAs. There's your 401k, there's your Roth IRA, there's your traditional IRA, there's a 457B. All of these are IRAs, individual retirement accounts. Usually the main one that your employer will help contribute into is the 401k plan, which is a tax-deferred plan. It means that you're not going to get taxed on the money that invests now. You will be taxed on it as you start taking withdrawals in the future after retirement. But if your department offers a match, take it. Listen to me. If you don't listen to anything else I say in this podcast, that is number one. You are throwing away free money if you don't take it. You are literally driving down, literally, but very, very similarly to driving down the highway, throwing money out the window, because you are giving up free money. It is literally free money. It's like them offering you an extra shift without working. You understand this? If they say we will invest up to 5% match into a 401k, that means if you invest 5% of your income into your 401k, they then put that amount of money, free money, into your 401k. Don't ever pass that up. No matter how poor you are, no matter how much debt you have, no matter how much you struggle, put in the minimum amount to meet the match. If they say 5%, you put in 5%. If they say 3%, you put in 3%. If they say 7%, you have a good employer, you put in 7%. Do not pass up free money. Number two, and this one is overlooked by so many police officers and firefighters, I can't even begin to tell you. And it's sad. It's one of those things that the federal lawmakers gave us a powerful tool as first responders, and unfortunately, too many first responders don't understand it. And so they do their match. They do the match. So you're all set up. You're doing your payroll match. Perfect. You have some additional money to invest. Yes, good job. You're doing well. You paid down your debts. You're looking sharp. You want to invest some more money. You say you have an extra $500 a month that you can invest into your retirement. Most people will just dump that into the 401k. Big mistake. Instead of investing into a 401k, you should be investing into your employer's 457B plan. The 457B plan is not talked about a lot, but it is identical. Let's just say this. It is identical in almost every way to the 401k. Tax deferred, money that you invest, you can decide which mutual funds you want it to go into, whether you want to be aggressive, whether you want to be a little bit more conservative, whether you want to have stocks, bonds, mutual money markets, ETFs, a variety of things, all sorts of things. It gives you all the flexibility of a 401k with one major difference. With a 401k, you cannot take the money out until you're 59 and a half. Otherwise, you're penalized. That is a federal law. The term 401k refers to the financial code that particular plan is under federally, the tax code. It's a 401k, and there's a bunch of other numbers, plan under the tax code. And it is regulated by the federal government, and you cannot start taking withdrawals from that until you're 59 and a half. Well, where does that leave you if you work 20, 30 years as a police officer and you're ready to retire at age 49 or 50? And you need a little extra supplementation each month. That's where the 457B comes in. Congress, in their wisdom many years ago, created the 457B plan exactly for you, state employees, first responders. So when you retire, you can start drawing on your 457B immediately, penalty free. Yes, you got to pay taxes on it, like it's income, but it is penalty free. You can draw from it no matter how old you are. You retire at 50, you don't have to pay that 10% IRS penalty that you would with other retirement accounts. So instead of putting extra money into your 401k, put it into your 457. Now, when you're retired, you have to take money from your 457? No. You can continue to just let it hang out there, let it gain interest, let it compound over the years. You don't have to take it. Let's say you retire and you got a great little retirement gig going on and you're making some money, and you got your pension, you got a second job, you're rolling, and you don't need your 457. You don't need your 401k. Leave it there. Let it build. But it's nice to know that you can take it when you need it. As of right now, with the 457, you can contribute up to, I believe, $23,000 per year. I think it was only $18,000 when I retired, but they raise it every month, just like the Roth IRAs and those types of things. And so it's really very, very beneficial. So you should be putting more money into the 457, any additional money into your 457. And then, of course, you could also look into investing in a private Roth IRA, which is not tax deferred. It's actually taxed money. It goes in after taxes. So it has an advantage. And Roth, of course, is the name of the congressman. It's the last name of the congressman who passed that legislation, who ran that legislation. It was Congressman Roth who passed it. So all of these things are laws on the federal level. So I just encourage you to invest in a 457. It's powerful for you as a first responder. Tip number 3, take advantage of dollar cost averaging. Steady beats perfect every time. And this is so important right now. Right now, if you're investing in, I encourage you, don't check your retirement plan or your investment plan or your IRA. Don't check it every single day. You'll get really depressed. You'll start panicking. And that's stupid. I learned about dollar cost averaging as a junior in high school. And it is a powerful financial tool. So many of us follow the market or we try to time the market, and it's impossible. It's impossible. You can't. There's a scene in an absolutely crass, vulgar movie, The Wolf of Wall Street. If you haven't seen it, I can't recommend it because it is crass and vulgar. But there is a scene in that show where the Matthew McConaughey character is sitting there next to the Leonardo DiCaprio character, and he says, "Listen, nobody knows if a stock's going to go up, down, around, and he says they have no idea, especially stockbrokers, right? Don't pretend you know whether it's going to go up or down. Don't worry about it. Can set a monthly investment and plug it in." And that's another tool here in a second. That's actually tip number 4. We'll get into in a second. Invest a set amount every month and just continue to do it. If your stocks go up, great. If your stocks go down, great, because you're going to keep investing. And when stocks are down and your monthly investment goes in when the stocks are down, you just got a whole bunch of stock on sale and it's going to go back up. Dollar cost averaging allows you to not panic when there's ups and when there's downs in the stock market. If your stocks are going up, you're happy. If the stocks are down, you're still buying the stock when it's on sale. You're getting more stock per dollar, more shares per dollar. And so when it goes back up, you'll have more shares that are going up. And so take advantage of dollar cost averaging. Be steady in your investments and do not be an emotional, panicked investor. Which brings us to tip number 4. Automate your investments. Set it and forget it. Do you want to build wealth without thinking about it? Okay, then automate your investments and your contributions. Set a percentage of every paycheck to go straight into your 457, your 401k with the match, plus your 457, plus maybe a Roth IRA. Okay, you can have multiple. I have multiple. Towards the last several years of my career, I was investing in the departmental match. I was investing almost maxing out a 457. And then I always maxed out a Roth IRA for myself, and my wife maxed out a Roth IRA. So you can have multiple different avenues of investment. You don't just need one, but the most important thing is to automate it. Make it automatic. Set up a percentage and forget about it. If you don't see it in your bank account, you won't miss it. And your future self will thank you. Will thank you for doing that. And it gets hard. And you always come up with a reason. That's people come up with reasons to borrow from their 401k. Oh, we're buying a house. That's a good reason. Medical emergency. Oh, that's a good reason. All these different reasons. Nobody gets rich by looking for excuses to take your money out of the stock market and out of the investments. Put it in as Charles Givens. I don't know if any of you remember Charles J. Givens. He wrote the books Wealth Without Risk, More Wealth Without Risk, Financial Self-Defense, Super Self. I was a big follower of Charles Givens in high school. I went to one of his seminars, recommended to me by the high school teacher. Anyway, he had a saying, put it in, leave it in. Put it in, leave it in. Forget about it. Go about your life. Go about your business and let the money grow. That brings me to tip number 5, which is the 8th wonder of the world, believe it or not. And that is compounding interest. It was Albert Einstein, in fact, who called compounding interest the 8th wonder of the world. And he was not wrong. Let's take very modest numbers. Okay. Let's say you're 25 years old, just entering into police work, and you invest a moderate $300 a month at what I would consider a pathetic return, which is 7% annually. If you're only getting 7% annually, you need to up your aggression. You need to get yourself into some tech stocks. You need to start investing in, you need to be more aggressive. Let's just say that. Semiconductors and energy and things like that. 7% is terrible. 7% is what you get sometimes on a bond investment, a bond mutual fund. Your stock, aggressive small cap growth stocks should be getting anywhere 10, 15, some good years, 20, 30% a year. That's very, 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 very rare. But if you average it out over 10 years, you should be getting 10 to 12 to 15% a year on return. But let's just say you invest $300 a month at 7% return. By the time you are by the time you're 60, you'll have $700,000 without doing anything else. Okay. So the question is, what's more important? More money per month or more time? Without question, the most important is more time. So the earlier you begin to invest every single month, the better. As soon as my kids, my daughter and my son, and when as soon as my kids get jobs that are more adult-like jobs, as soon as they were 18, they opened up a Roth IRA. And they started investing even $50 or $100 a month at age 18. And they can increase it as they get better jobs, as they start getting more income, they can increase it. But they started at age 18. If my kids put it in and leave it in, they will all be well over $1 million by the time they decide to retire. And so I'm setting them up. It's always better to start earlier. It's always best to start early with more money. Okay. So instead of just $300 a month, maybe you can do $500 a month. $500 a month, instead of just 300 is going to compound tremendously faster. You're going to have a lot more money at the end. Now, we want to retire before we're 60 in most cases as a police officer or firefighter. So keep in mind, with every raise you get, I highly recommend that you peel off a portion of that raise and don't even worry about it and just invest it. So if you get a 4% raise one year, take 2% and increase your investments and take a 2% raise as income. Continue to increase the amount as you make more money, as you pay off debt. Increase the amount that you invest. This will help you. But nothing can make up for time. The longer you have, the better compounding interest works. But let's just say you're getting older and your retirement's 5, 6, 8 years down the road. Even if you're starting later, the principle still holds. Invest hard, invest consistently. Do not get marred with emotion. Put it in, leave it in, and you're going to see it grow. So those are 5 recommendations that I say every first responder needs to follow. What are some red flags you need to watch out for as a police officer, as a firefighter? Some red flags I definitely want to list these for you. There's a few of them. The first one is, do not assume that your pension alone is enough. It won't be. Don't cash out your retirement early. Put it in, leave it in. If it's your 457 and you're retired, do with it what you will. Don't chase trends. I have a hard time with this, but we're talking about like meme stocks or cryptocurrency. If you want to, I invest in cryptocurrency. I also invest in precious metals, gold and silver. I have physical gold. I have physical silver. I have some cryptocurrency. Some of my favorites. I have some XRP. I have a little bit of Bitcoin. But don't get crazy with it. Okay. Don't chase trends because you will lose more than you win. I just took a huge hit, for me, on crypto just recently, made a big mistake, and it hurt me. And I would encourage you to be very careful with that. Be very careful. If you don't understand something in and out, inside and out, I would steer clear. So don't chase the trends. And finally, don't plan to work forever. One day, your body or your mind, it may not be able to keep up, and you're going to want to get out. If you have planned accordingly, your financial fitness is going to be strong and ready for you to retire and take your boys to Jamaica, Cayman Islands, and have a great time. Plan ahead, my friends. Look, you've trained and you have fought and you have survived and you have served others on the front lines of being a first responder. You deserve a solid, good retirement. You're more than capable of getting your financial life together. It may take sacrifice. It may take you working overtime. This isn't about being rich. It's about being free. Because having enough money to do what you want to do on occasion in retirement is freedom. It's about being free. So it's not about being rich. It's about knowing that when you're done with this job, your family's future is secure and it keeps your stress levels low. So suit up, build a plan, Talk to a financial advisor if you need to. Start investing, even if it's only $100 a month, and keep your eyes on the long game. Because when the day comes to turn in your gear, you deserve to walk away proud, not panicked. So you can do it. Thank you for joining me here on First Responder Fitness. I am Carl Wimmer, reminding you this week, as always, as every other week, to be good to yourself, be good to others, and as always, stay safe.